YouTube. Today I'm going to be installing some Halo headlights. These have the DRL. These actually change color from the white, which isn't on right now, to yellow. And you actually get this wire to connect it. So obviously you have to connect it to your turn signals for it to work. So it's going to be different in every car, but for me, these are running lights right here. And I have one bulb in, so what I did is that if you come around here, you can see the wiring there. I already test wired up this side. So what I ended up doing here is in the box, you get this harness. And this harness has another end, so I'll show you that right now. So I'll come over here. This is what the harness looks like. And this harness has a different end. So this is a 9006 or 9007, I believe. I'm not sure exactly which one it is, but what I ended up doing is removing this protecting here and snipping these wires off so I can get these three wires. And what I ended up doing is right here, I soldered all three what they're supposed to go to. So for example, the ground, the low beam and high beam. So for instance, you got your lows and highs. I forgot which one it is, but it's one of these. And this is my alligator clamp that I have connected to the battery over there. Because this car always had a ground problem since the early 80s. It always had a ground problem. You know, this is my dad's car. We could never figure it out. So right now what I'm going to do is take this ground wire and attach another wire, which I have up here, some extra wire. And snip those ends with my wire strippers right there. And I'm going to find one of these bolts along here or somewhere in here and ground that to it. So this side's completely done, and what I have to work on is this side now, because what happened before is when I turned off the high beams, the full headlight was shut off because this wire right here is for the high beam, and this one was pulled out because I was moving the harness. So it looks like this. This is an old harness that I have, but I'm gonna have to remove this because this is for the same kind of light. So I'm not sure why they would include this in another headlight, but this isn't what came with it. This is what came with it. You can see the connection is different here. So it's the regular H3 or H4, whichever one it is, the 9006 or 9007. But what I'm going to end up doing is cutting the end off here, stripping the end of the wires here and connecting it directly to these, the low, the high, and the ground. And the cool thing about these lights is that you get halos with it, right? This is the halo wire right here. So you have your green and red. So I forgot exactly which one it is, but if you come over here, I'll make it easier for myself. So this white wire is connected to, let's see, that is connected to the red one. I don't know if you could see that down there, the red one there. It's connected, so this one. And what I did is, so the white and the yellow, these are color coded. I did it a certain way so I know what is what. So what I ended up doing is I took the white one, connected to the red one, because the white DRL is this, and this is the one for the white DRL. And the green one I connected to the yellow for the amber. So if I go and set this down here, and I come over here, excuse the mess, restoration, I turn on the park light, you can see the halo comes on. The halo is on. I don't know if you can see it, but it's on right now. It doesn't look like it's on camera, but it is. And I'll turn on the flasher for you. So I didn't put in the LED flasher yet, so it's gonna look a little weird, but it's on. It's on. And you see it didn't come on because I probably messed up the wire here. Which is pretty weird. This isn't. Oh, you see? These aren't working. So this has nothing to do with the lights in the car. This has to do with the wiring. So if I take this off and I put this like this, it is gonna blink. And that's pretty nice. So the reason why that happened before is because I have to put an LED flasher in. And this is a halogen bulb right here, and you can feel the heat coming off of this. But that's what it's gonna be, and the white comes on when you shut that blinker off. So how I have it is that when the running lights aren't on, or the park lights, it'll only blink amber like it is right now. But if you have the park lights on and you turn on your turn signal, it'll be white, and it'll switch to orange and then white or yellow. Excuse the noise, but these wires that I have right here, these are just temporary. Do not leave your wires like this because it's going to cause a fire. I just left it like this because I know my whole way around this car, and I know what's on when the car's off and all of that. So what you're going to have to do is figure out what is your park wire. So for instance, on this car, it's an Audi, right? You got your turn signal right down here. So behind here, you're going to get a bunch of wires. You're going to have to figure out which is a blinker. So what you're going to have to do is take a multimeter, turn the turn signal on, and see if it comes on. And you got to look for that voltage. So if it goes on and drops, then you know that's your wire. So there's going to be one that's a solid. So this one, it's currently set to only blinking. There's no solid on it. But this is my DRL right here. You can see the little halo reflection in the convertible. Right here, I have all my things laid out. So I have my multimeter, box solder, my heat shrink, my solder, my I forgot what this is called, the paste wax, my solder gun, my trickle charger because I'm doing all this work. So I have a trickle charge, my heat gun. Well, it's a blow dry, not a heat gun. Because I gotta heat shrink all these wires here. So that's what I'm gonna end up doing for this side. So I am going to remove this from this harness down here, and I'll show you what I'm gonna do next. So let me just remove this and I'll get back to you guys. I'm back. I have my phone mounted right now so you guys can see. Let me show you the old harness. So this is the old one. This is the old one, same connections. Put that aside, and the new one is this. But there's one problem. If I connect this, the headlight, how am I going to connect this to the car? If this camera will focus, what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up cutting this end off because this is the right end. This comes in the kit, so in case you have a Jeep or another car that uses this bulb, you would use this. But I'm going to cut it because I need this harness. So what I'm doing is I'm going to strip the wires up here, because when I strip these, I can't just connect it to this. It wouldn't make any sense. So I'm going to strip these wires and solder it to those. So this connector right here I'm pointing at is going to come out, and I'm going to use this new connector that I showed you guys. So let me mount my phone again, and this connector right here is going to be cut. So you're going to get your wire strippers right here and cut each wire. So what I like to do is put it like this. As you can see, it's completely at the end. We're close enough. Now go ahead, you can do it one by one, but I'll do it by 3. And the connector's off now, like this, and you don't need this anymore. And let me show you guys. So you have your wrap here. You're gonna reuse this, but you want to take it off for now because you want to have enough room to strip these. So what I'm gonna do is get these wire strippers. So it looks like this. So what this does is, when you put your wire in like this and you close it, this part here is going to come down, and you see how it comes down, and this push will out, it pulls the wire. So if I take, for instance, I can't remember what this is, but these two, this is the low and this is the high. I'm pretty sure one of these, you're gonna have to figure that out, but it's the same for all the cars. I would think so, but probably not. So all car wiring is different, so you're gonna have to figure it out. Excuse what I said before. So you're gonna want to take your wire cutter. You got different settings here for bigger wires, smaller wires. All through here, you pick your wire. So for instance, I'm gonna do the second one because if I use the smallest one, might strip some wire off. So I want this much wire. So I'm gonna go like this. And you see how that wire comes off? You're gonna wanna hold it. And look how clean that is. There's no using a box cutter, no doing it the redneck Jerry way, you know? So what I do is that I take the size of this and that I have cut, and you see how much length I have there? I'll put my finger here, and that'll give me a visual representation of how much I need to cut. I don't have to, you don't have to do this, but I just like to be neat with everything I do. So I'm gonna cut it. This is pretty even, so you can watch this. Look how neat that was. And you got some wires that might pinch up there, but that's fine as long as no wires break off, you're good. What you want to keep in mind is that if any of these strands break off, you're going to want to cut it off with your wire stripper again, and then you're going to want to strip it again. So I have this cut. Gave me a little poke there, but yeah, so you might want to wear gloves with this, just so you can keep your hands safe. But I know what I'm doing and how to use these tools, so I don't need gloves, but you should use gloves. When it comes to soldering and everything, yes, you do want to wear gloves. If you don't have a solder gun, you can just take these wires and twist them together, but I wouldn't recommend that, because if the tape comes loose and this touches any metal, like around here, around down there, you're gonna have a problem. Your fuse is gonna blow, and if you're driving in the night, it's just gonna be a whole big headache. So I would just go out, buy a solder gun if you don't have one, or rent one. I think you can rent one. I know like stores like Home Depot, you're allowed to rent tools, so maybe they have it there, maybe they don't, but it's $40, so it's not that inexpensive, but I would try and get one if you can. But you're gonna take this wire, strip it. Now you have your wire, and that's it. You're stripping the wires. I made that seem way too long than it needs to be, but I just wanted everyone to know how to do it if you don't. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually come over here, and this whole harness is gonna come out right here. This harness right here is going to come out, and I'm going to clip all these wires and solder them together. So let me just get my clipper and clip them, and I'll be right back. So I am back. Hopefully my camera doesn't fall, because I have it like halfway on my car. So if this camera will adjust, you'll be able to see it clearly. So you're going to want to clip these wires. It's hard to see, but you have in this car, I'm pretty sure this is the low and this is the high, and this is the ground. Obviously, if you know basics of electric, this is ground. Oh, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. This came out. This is the high. No, this is the low. This is the low. I know for sure it's the low. So now, you could just go ahead and lay this on this, but no, you don't. If you take your multimeter right here and you test that, you'll get 12 volts to that. And that'll be bad, because if I touch it right now, it'll spark. So what I'm gonna do is actually get a piece of paper or something and put it on there. And when you solder, you want to use a piece of paper. So this is, I forgot what it's called, but it's a special towel. And you just see my extra solder here that fell. And if this falls in your paint, you're gonna get really upset. So if you take this and you just rest it on it, nothing will happen. So right now this wire wants to fight with me right now because it's just moving all over the place. So I'm going to try and cover it a little bit if I can. I don't want to touch anything, and then it's going to, oh my god, it almost touched something. So let me just go and cover that, and it's going to stay there hopefully. And my phone fell, so let me go get that. I'm recording with another phone, but what you're gonna want to do is get your harness, whatever you're doing, and cut it. You don't have to, because as I said before, if you have the other head, you don't have to cut it, but what I'm gonna do is cut it. So I'm gonna try and get as much length. So if you see here, this part has a little divot, so it'll cut only here. But so I'm gonna turn it around to get as most wire cut as I can. Cut it here, comes out, and came out. So these are 2 wires, so they're in one. So I'm not sure why Chevy did this, if they should have just used one, but I'm going to strip these as well. So these are 2 wires, they go into one. So remember the color, and you're going to have to twist these back on together. and use those. So that can just lay in the side because the contacts are open on the top, but on the sides you can't chafe against anything. So you're gonna want to take these and see how it's twisted here. You don't want to make it straight, make it nice and neat. Take your pliers, your wire strippers, and cut up to here, and you're good. Now this connector's off, and you can see the bad connector isn't on there anymore because I removed it right down there. Now what you're gonna want to do as well is grab this wire, and it's in my my low. You're gonna want to cut it because this has power right now, so I don't want to touch it. So I'll touch it up here, but that's it. Now I can touch it because it's not connected anymore. So you can put this aside, and now you're gonna want to take these. So this can touch the metal right now because the headlights aren't on, so it doesn't matter right now. So you're gonna want to take your 2 wires, put it on the side, and your ground and everything, or you can just leave it on the side here. So everything is cut now the way I want it to be because I have to do this for this car. It's a ground issue. You guys don't have to do this if you have a newer Jeep or another Camaro and it fits these type of lights. You don't have to worry about that if you have the right connector. But if you have a ground problem like I do, you'll have to do it. Somewhere in this car there's a ground problem somewhere, but I'm not gonna go ahead and look for that because that's gonna take a year. I'm just gonna ground it to a bolt. Nothing's wrong with that. No, I'm gonna mount it in an area where no one can see it because this car is basically a show car. And you can see beautiful burnt orange paint there. So I am going to strip the end of these wires and get my new harness, which is right here. And these are gonna go to this. So for instance, the black's gonna go to black. The blue is going to go to the low beam. Blue's gonna go to low beam, and the white's gonna go to the green. Every car wiring is different, so I just want everyone to be aware. It's not gonna be the same with me. So I am going to go use the same wire strippers that I used before and strip it. I'll get right back to you guys. Alright, I am back. So I stripped these wires and I put the heat shrink on it. I don't know if you can see if I can do this with one hand. You can see the wires stripped, and these 2 I have them twisted together. So I put this like this just to protect it in case it moves. Now what I'm gonna do is test them because I gotta take these wires, connect it to these, just twist them for now, and if they work the right way and they're connected the right way, I can go solder them. And I put these on because these are heat shrink. So I'm gonna lower this down and twist these wires on, use my solder gun over there with my solder and my I forgot what it's called, soldering paste, that's what it's called. And I'm gonna solder it together and put this up, use my blower, shrink that so I don't have to put electrical tape. You can use electrical tape if you want, but all I'm concerned about is the white and blue. So if I connect it the right way and it works the way it should, then I can go ahead and solder it. I'll get right back to you guys. And as you can see, it is completely on. So you can see how that top one isn't on. That's because the high beam isn't on. And you can see here, although I didn't mount yet, the high beam isn't also on. So if I come over here and I turn on the high beams, so high beams in this car is actually in the foot. So I don't know if you can see, but there is a little foot like puck right here that you hit, and I'll turn on the high beam so you can hear it right here. Now the highs are on. You can see it says high right, brights on right there, which means highs. Now if you look at it, they were both on. And same thing here. So you know they're both right. And now all I gotta do is take these, solder them together, and that's it. And then again, I forgot to tell you guys about the halos. So what you actually want to do is you're gonna have to find your park lights, solder it in. So if I touch this right now, how it's on, if this touches the metal, it's gonna spark, but I don't want to blow another fuse. So I would have shown you guys, but I don't want to blow another fuse. So these are my park lights, and I have my cables ran to it already. And I am looking at something right now because something doesn't look right to me. Actually, no, it does. Because I was wondering if this is alone, but I forgot I have my actual harness down here. So you're gonna take your wires and solder them together, or do whatever you want to do with these. But I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do with them in a second. So just give me a second. So I have my solder gun here, my weller, Gonna turn that on. You can see the lights right there. It's gonna be hard, but I have my solder wax right here. I am going to try and show you guys. I hope you can see it smoking. It looks so cool when it smokes. So now you're gonna have to take your solder. So let me go find that. Where's my solder? Right here. Now you got your solder. You got your heat right there. Now you're gonna wanna get this in here a little bit. Nice and steamy. Got that nice and hot. And you're gonna wanna dip your solder into it. Got it on there. And now I'm gonna go over here. Heat that wire up. I'll try and show you guys. I don't know how good you can see. The wire's starting to get really hot. The solder's gonna start melting in. Once that wire gets hot, now it's starting to melt in. A nice good amount of solder on there. Oh yeah, looking good. Get all around it. Some more solder. I don't know if you guys can see, that's the thing. It's really hard for you guys to look at it. I want to coat all of this. I mean, looks good. Yeah, it's me, but I want it to be excellent. You know? Okay, now I have some solder starting to spill, which is not good. So I'm going to put that paper there and try and prevent that. Heat this up again. Now that is done, so now you know how I did my soldering, so I hope you guys can see that, and let me go review the footage and see what's up with that. Now you're going to want to take your heat shrink, which I showed you before, and put it over the solder you just did. So it's right here. Hope you guys can see that. And it actually melted a little bit, so that is not good at all, but I'm able to get it over this wire, so I'm going to try and get it over because I used a small piece of heat shrink. I should have used a bigger one, which is bad on my end because now I can't use this heat shrink, so it doesn't want to go on. Yeah, so what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to cut this wire again and solder it back again, so it'll give you guys a better angle because this heat shrink won't fit over. So you're going to want to take your, cut it in half. Now you take this one out. And see, it wouldn't even fit over this. Now you're going to want to get it out. You know, try and get it out, but probably won't come out. Yeah, it's not going to come out. And this, like, see this solder? It's like, you can't get rid of this. So, see, it's a good thing I cut all the way up to length. That connector ended, so I'm gonna have to strip this again and cut it. So I'm gonna have to do the same thing on this side. Strip it, cut it. I'll get right back to you guys. So now I'm gonna take my heat gun, my solder gun, let that heat up. And once that starts heating up, I'm going to stick it in my solder paste, which is right here. And that is starting to smoke, as you can see. If you dip it in the solder, get a little hot. Let it get a little more hot. And then I am going to, where is the camera? Solder on it. What is this? Radio Shack, I think. Yeah, so that's smoking a lot, a little bit more. That's always cool. And you're gonna wanna put it on your wire. Once you have on your wire, let that heat up a little bit and start soaking it in. Put a little bit more solder, start soaking it in. Oh yeah, this is like some good camera view right here. You guys can see exactly what I'm doing. I'll make it a little thick. A little thick, not too thick. And now that was perfect. Let me tell you, that was perfect. So you're gonna want to get your heat shrink. Now let it cool off a little bit. Wait like a minute, but I'm gonna rush it just so I can show you guys. You got your heat shrink over. Perfect, beautiful. And so this is in the middle. Move it like this, and then take your heat it up. Now that one is all done, and now you can do the other one by yourself, because if I record all of them, it's going to take a really long time. So let me get these done, and then show you guys what it looks like after. Back, this is about an hour or two later, so I have everything done. I'm not sure if I said that, all soldered up. This side's all soldered up as well. Here, since as far as the ground column, what I'm going to do is from the ground lead right here, this wire right here, I'll pull it out. Where is it? Right here, I have a wire like this that I'm going to connect to this battery terminal. So it's actually this wire I put on a crimp connector. This is the other Camaro. You have it moved. But yeah, so this wire here I crimped on. I'm gonna put some solder around here and then put this back in some heat shrink as well. And this is gonna go straight to the battery. So that's grounded out correctly. And now the halo is what I showed you before. So you gotta find it's positive and negative. Connected directly to your park, like the same turn signal. Two wires, you gotta find which one is the pulsing one and which one blinks when the blinker is on. So you'll have to connect your multimeter to whichever one it is, whichever one you think it is. Connect one end to the battery, which is a negative. Connect the negative side to the battery and connect the positive to here. And you turn on your signal, see which one goes to 12 volts or at least 11 and comes off. And that's how you know which is your turn signal wire. So for instance, I know this is my turn signal wire. I just put an alligator clip for now, just because I don't want to cut the wire as of yet. So yeah, and I can actually go and turn the lights on, so the headlights are on. Low, you can see it. And that isn't going to come on yet because it's not grounded. So if I take this, I connect this here. It's been touched anywhere because it doesn't matter. And you connect one end to here, like so. And I connect the other end to the battery. It'll come on, see? And that's halo is on too. I don't know if you can see, but that halo is on. A little bit of heat, but I will take a picture and put it after. And if I feel like recording, I'll record it, but that's the whole process. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. and that'll be it. I want to mount this light. I have to get this spring in though, wherever it is. I just lost it, but I'll find it back eventually. Not sure where it is, but I'll find it back. But yeah, I just gotta mount that, and that'll be it. Well, once I mount that, this headlight can go in because this is the adjustments there. And that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will show a picture on screen when I'm done. Thank you, Uni-Shine, for sending this out. I really appreciate it. And you guys go check out their store if you need any headlights from them. They're a great company. These have been working for over 3 years. I know another guy on YouTube, Mixed Speed 170, I think that's his name. He had these running for 3 years, so he gave me the idea. And thanks to Uni-Shine for sponsoring this video. Thank you, Uni-Shine. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much. Alright, so I'm back, and it's a couple of days later. I kind of forgot what the last part I was working on, but right now I have, this is a ground cable that I made. My O-ring here, I'm either gonna connect it to a bolt somewhere along here, find out which one has a ground or which is a ground, connect this to this and solder it, and either connect it to the new battery terminals I put on. So I want it to look professional, so I might remove this one and put it under so you can't really see it, but I'll have to figure it out. But right now I'm gonna wire this up. I was waiting on some solder from Amazon because I ran out, so I'm just gonna solder this up, make sure it works the right way. And this light I actually have to flip, so the low beam, which is this, has to be in the top, and the high beam has to be in the bottom. So I just gotta loosen this a little bit and flip it. That should be good, so I'm gonna get ready and doing that. I'll come back to you when this is installed. Alright, I am back, YouTube, and man, look at that. Looks awesome. That's the complete product. How bright that O-ring is. Beautiful, man. I just had to get these 2 park lights in and get the halos that I'm putting in there to match with that. And I'll do the same switchback thing it does. So I want to say thank you guys for watching, and I'll make another video of those O-rings. Leave a like and thumbs up. Thank you guys very much.